How do we get our DA partners to heal? Well, it's frustrating. I'm doing my inner work. I'm focusing on my growth. Why then are they not showing up for themselves? You're doing the right thing. Let's just consider for a start that their model as a child told them that no amount of information they could gain from anywhere was going to be helpful at all. They tried to create a transaction with the carers, but the carers are just too toxic, and they had become so independent to understand that help from the outside, getting assistance, getting counseling, getting some kind of information that could promote their growth is something quite abhorrent to their whole makeup, their whole patterning, because as a child that information served no purpose. For you, most likely, as an anxious-based fearful avoidant or as an anxious preoccupied, your transaction occurred. You were able to gain information, preempt, predict, redirect someone else's need to have some of yours met, so understand that it was easier for you now as an adult than to recognize that help is available and it can be useful. So give them patience for a start. The first thing that they are going to reference is that it is possible because they've seen you do it. Give them an example. Put a fork in the road in front of them and say, hey, all this conclusions you've come to that it's not possible to heal is actually a fallacy. You don't need to tell them that. It's just lead by example. Now, with you dealing with your childhood wounds, it's not going to be the same process for them because their nervous system is not regulated in the same way that yours is. Let's just recognize that as a child, their trauma was so incredibly intense and their abandonment was so profound that their nervous system literally shut down as a defense to prevent more further damage occurring to them. When they are emotionally triggered, their nervous system will shut off and they will remember that they care about you, that they care about everything, working, the kids, but they won't be able to connect to the emotion, which means actually experiencing their childhood wounds over again to release that held and stored emotion is something they can't even reach or touch. So the first thing for them to do is to regulate their nervous system through CBT or somatic exercises, stuff that's helpful for everyone, but absolutely necessary for them. So first up, recognize that our process and our journey with our healing is not the same as it is for them. And the majority of people in the world will not understand that a dismissive's need for nervous system regulation is so incredibly important. Least of all, them. When you want to lead your DA partner towards healing, first set that example and start the conversation. When they breach it and say, hey, look, I'm curious, it's amazing, you're making these changes, to say, well, you know what, I'd love to talk to you about maybe something you could do. Would that be okay with you? Using law of attraction, how do I get my DA partner to heal? You don't get them to do it. You get them to want to do it. Show them, lead them, draw them towards you, and then do it in love in a way that is not entrapping and not encapsulating, because those things are triggering for them. When they're making the choice by their own accord is the only way a DA will ever heal. So that's a fork in the road for you. Making this decision, the person that I'm with, are they prepared to engage and heal? Because you are, and if they're not, they'll be an anchor for you in your own personal growth, in your own journey, and they'll hold you back. This is a very important point for anyone who's with a DA to identify, is my partner good for me? And if they're not prepared to grow, it's time to make a tough decision. But if they are drawn to you and start asking real questions, you don't need to see the needle moving very much to get very much encouraged and say, yes, I'll hold space for this person and I'll walk this journey through to the end. Because we know we're great at being incredibly loyal to our DA partner, making sure we're holding firm boundaries and in love, leading them towards their own healing.